Hi there. So today's episode 2 of Yoga Fusion. And like I said in the last episode, or if you missed last episode, this is an amalgamation of not just yoga, but many different things because, again, one position is not going to solve your problem. It's a combination of different positions, exercises, fascial release, and strengthening, and mobility, and the list goes on and on and on. So today we're going to do a short little segment on the hips. And I could talk for years about the hips. I have been for years with my clients when I work on their hips, when they have lower back problems, when they have knee problems. This is our center. This is where locomotion comes from, and also birth, how we produce children, and locomotion, like what I just said. This can be also a huge problem for people if it is immobile. And I'm speaking to you men out there. Generally speaking, and of course, there are a lot of men who have amazing control of their hips. Think about salsa dancers, right? Dancers in general. But as Eric Dalton says, a weak butt equals a weak back. And a lot of men have lower back problems because they don't have the mobility in the pelvis, and so the lower back has to assume a lot of weight. So, and for you women out there, I know, well, yeah, I'm way more, I can control my hips way better. Sorry, it's beyond sex. I know a lot of women and worked on thousands of women that don't know how to move their pelvis properly. Nothing wrong with it. We were not taught this as children. I'm not trying to pick on you or criticize you in general. I'm criticizing the system. And in most school systems, at least in North America, no one teaches us how to move our pelvis properly, how to sit properly, how to stand properly, how to walk properly, how to dance properly. They try to, but most people who teach it in elementary school, I remember my gym teacher, she had no idea about how to move her hips. So that's what we're going to try to do. I'm going to try to teach you a little bit of mobility when it comes to the hips. And when you have that mobility, then you can distribute weight evenly throughout your lower back and your pelvis, and it can take away some knee problems because a lot of knee problems originate from the pelvis because, like I said before, these are the strongest muscles in the body, and so they're going to pull upwardly on the knees, especially if your femurs are off in relation to the pelvis and down to your lower legs. Anyway, I'm talking too much. And maybe some of you are thinking, why are you talking so much anatomy and biomechanics? It's about educating people. It's about knowing your body. And if I speak too complicated of a language, please tell me in the comments. Yell at me. I'm okay with it. And I'll simplify it even more. I try to, and I have been, but hopefully it's not. And I need to learn how to teach even better. So please, comments are welcome. First position, we're going to go into an anterior posterior tilt. And so, what is an anterior posterior tilt? You hear about this a lot. Okay. So, let's look at how the top of the pelvis, where it's pointing to. So, let's say there's an arrow coming out of the top of my pelvis. Okay. And so, the top of my pelvis is tilted forward. Top of the pelvis, the ilium right here. This is the iliac crest, the top of your pelvis. And it's tilting forward or anteriorly. Okay. Now, if I tuck my tailbone under and the top of my pelvis points backwards, it's a posterior tilt. Okay. You may be in a posterior tilt, you may be in an anterior tilt. I don't know. Send me pictures, but clothed, please. And I'll help you out and decipher whether you're in an anterior or posterior tilt. Okay. It also, you have to look at the position of your femurs and your lower legs as well. Okay. Anyway, doesn't matter what position you're in. We just want to try to get that mobility between end ranges of anterior and posterior tilt. So we're going to do it on the floor, and then later we're going to do it standing. So look at my lower back. We kind of did this in the first episode in accordance with the breath, the circumferential breathing. We're expanding our abdominal region and lower back in a circumferential manner. So I'm going to inhale, expand circumferentially, and my pelvis comes into an anterior tilt. And then I'm going to exhale, squeeze in circumferentially from all sides, and I'm going to try my lower back to touch the floor. If it doesn't, that's okay. Maybe you're in an extreme anterior tilt. kind of like me, not extreme, but I'm anterior to it. You should have seen me years ago. And then I'm going to inhale and exhale. Push the lower back down. We're just going to alternate back and forth. We're going to inhale, expand. Our pelvis comes in an anterior tilt. My rib cage flares up. The front of my rib cage flares up. And then when I exhale, I join the rib cage to the pelvis. And then we've got good stability and connection between the rib cage and the pelvis. Inhale up. Exhale. And you hear me breathe? I'm breathing through my nose. It's a much healthier breath. The cilia in your nose cleans the air, cools it and cleans it, warms it and cools it. Inhale up. Gap between my lower back. Exhale. Now, when you're doing this, which is more difficult for you? Maybe it's more challenging for you to come into an anterior tilt. If it is, that probably means you're in a posteriorly tilted pelvis. If it's difficult for you to come into a posterior tilt, then maybe you're like me and you're in an anterior tilt. Okay? There's no right or wrong here. It's just you're discovering where you're at. What position is your body and your pelvis in space and the floor? Okay? We're still doing it. Inhale up. Exhale, push down. Okay, now come back to neutral. We're going to straighten the legs out. I'm going to drop my arms. The only reason I lifted my arms up so you could see my lower back. And then I'm just going to relax into this. I'm going to integrate this. And remember, I talked about it last episode. Can we, between positions, just fully relax the body and let go of the tension that we just created? Keep breathing. How is your pelvis touching your sacrum and the two sides of your pelvis touching the floor? Observe it. Feel it. Embody it. Okay, now we're going to come into the pelvic clock. Now, I'm just going to go get the clock here. My cheap ass clock. So, what I want you to do, this is taken from Feldenkrais. This is a movement modality developed by Moshe Feldenkrais, a genius. So, pretend that the clock is sitting on your belly, just like this, right? My knees are bent for now. And 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, okay? Now, imagine if I suck in my belly button and the 12 o'clock goes down into my abdominal region and my pelvis comes into a posterior tilt. So I'm tilting the clock in a posterior tilt. Then I'm pushing my left butt cheek down and the clock goes down towards the 3. Then I push my pubic bone or my junk down and it goes down to 6 and you're in an anteriorly tilted pelvis. And then my right butt cheek pushes down and I push down into 9 o'clock. Okay, now, so I've got 12, 3, 6, 9. Do you notice what I'm doing? I'm drawing a circle. I'm drawing in the direction of this clock, and the clock is facing up toward the ceiling, but you already know that. And so it's belly button, left butt cheek, pubic bone, junk, and then right. Now, let's do it with the feet together and dropping the knees out to the side. So, and also, let's check out where the feet are in space. If they're too near to you, your pelvis is not going to be in, it's going to be in an anterior tilt, okay? If they're too far away, they're going to be in a posterior tilt. So you want to find the middle ground of those two, where your sacrum, the surface area of your sacrum, and the sacrum is the bone, the fused portion of your spine at the very bottom and in between your pelvis, okay? Sacred, sacrum, okay? La sacracure, okay? And so now we're going to do it. We're going to go into 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Sorry, I'm going to move my mic here. 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Now, I'm going to do this with my eyes closed. My arms are here just so you can see. You can drop your arms out to the side. I can use my elbows as a fulcrum, or I can just relax my arms to the side. Now, when I do this, I'm noticing that I'm tensing my neck a little bit. So I'm going to try to relax my neck. And then I'm trying to do this, initiate the movement from my pelvis, not from my rib cage, but from my pelvis. And the rib cage will follow in congruence with the pelvis. The rib cage moves in accordance to where the pelvis is, okay? And so I'm drawing the circle. Now, What I'm also noticing is that I'm holding tension on my left inner thighs, my pectineus for one. That's an inner thigh muscle. It's a local muscle, we call it, in anatomy trains terminology. Okay. And so I'm noticing that it's a little bit more difficult for me to go from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Maybe you're noticing some parts are stuck. Maybe on the clock it's 12 o'clock or it's from 9 o'clock to 12. Notice it. And this is a great diagnostic tool telling you, oh, I need to release that part that's stuck. I need to open it up with a ball or a roller or movement. Okay. And then I'm going to try every hour on the hour 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, come to rest. Now we're going to go reverse direction. We're going to go counterclockwise. So 12, 11, 10, 9, etc., etc. Keep going. The speed of you will be different than mine. And so don't feel like you have to catch up to me. Go at your own pace. And then again, notice where you're holding. I'm holding in different areas or maybe the same areas as you. I don't know. I'm not you. You're not me. Don't try to be like me. Okay. And then I'm going to come back to 12 or neutral and then relax. I'm going to remove the clock, bring the knees back together, and then I'm going to straighten the legs out and relax here. Take a few breaths there. Let that integrate. Notice how your sacrum and your pelvis, both butt cheeks, are touching the floor. Is it different than when we started? Maybe you don't remember. That's okay. Maybe there's more surface area. Maybe there's a little bit of weirdness or wonkiness or pain. If there is, you know, okay. I need to release that part. Okay, folks. If you notice a little bit of a fading there, I had to cut because my battery ran out on my camera. So we're going to move on anyway. I'm going to got up pretty quickly. I'm going to bend my right knee. I'm going to push myself over to my left-hand side, use my right hand to push myself up. Much easier on the neck. Next position, hip joint impingement. So maybe some of you out there have had it before. I've had hip joint impingement before. We have really strong ligaments that connect the head of the femur, the acetabulum it's called, or I call it the acetabulum. And it, from scar tissue, from injuries, from just walking wrong, sitting in cars for 4 hours a day in front of a computer, can impinge the hips. And so these ligaments can just freeze and guard because ligaments prevent movement. I'll say that again. Ligaments prevent movement if they feel it's not safe. So let's create safe movement. So hands behind. You can turn your fingertips in front or backwards, up to you. Okay. My feet are a little bit wider than my hips here, and my feet are not too close to me, not too far away. I want to find that happy spot, that Goldilocks spot. Then I'm going to actively bring my knees to my left and then bring my knees to my right. And all this is figuring out, feeling where my end range is when I go to the left and go to the right. And I'm feeling here. This is where you want to pay attention to. How does it feel? Maybe your knees feel wonky. So maybe that means that your hips are pulling upon your knees because they do, because these are the strongest muscles in the body, remember? And they can pull upwardly on the knees and cause pain. So I noticed that it's a little bit more difficult for me to go to my right, meaning my left hip here. My glute max under my gluteal fold is a little bit stuck. So we're going to go to our right because I'm working, it's me. It's all about me, not about you. And this is my end range. Now, pretend like someone's hand is right in front of this knee, and you're going to push this knee into that hand like that. But when you bring it back, you're going to try to keep it at the same level. I don't want you to raise it up. So keep it in the same force vector. And the movement does not start from the knee. The movement comes from the QL, the psoas, the glutes, the ITB, the IT band, deep lateral rotators, all that. Because we want to create mobility there. So we're bringing it back, bringing it forward, maintaining that same level. And then I'm going to breathe into this. I just noticed my forehead was tense, so I'm relaxing it. And I feel a little bit of wonkiness. I can feel exactly where it's holding. So after this, I'm going to get a ball in there and release it. Hopefully you're observing what's going on with you as well. And then bring yourself back to the center, rest here. The test is the exercise is the test. That's not me, that's Gray Cook, great physio out of the States. And every exercise should be a test showing you where you're holding. So now the right knee, much easier. Now for you, what about you? Because I've been talking about myself all the time. What about you? Do you feel that the right leg is more difficult to do this than the left? If you do, then you want to stay here a little bit longer, or maybe pause the video and work a few more minutes on this right leg. If it's the left, then when we finish this right leg, I want you to go back to the left and do it again. Okay? Now, I notice a huge difference. My left was holding in this area way more than my right. Here it's pretty free. What about you? Where do you feel the impingement? Okay? And then come back. We're going to lie on our backs again. We're going to rest here and relax. Let your body fall. Let the pelvis fall. Okay, bend your right knee again. Roll over to your left-hand side. We're going to come up into the swastika. Now, what is the swastika? Well, anyway, we all know what a swastika is in the West because of that horrible man. But here in Asia, where I've lived over half my life, the swastika is a sacred symbol in Buddhism. And so we're going to manifest this. We're going to express this. But we're going to do half of it. So my lower leg, look, it's 90 here, 90, 90 here. All right. And why? Because we don't want the lower leg like this 45 because it might impinge and pull on your patella, many other, maybe on your pes anserinus and the attachment point for your hamstring and your inner thighs, right? So we want to create a neutral position for your lower legs and your femurs. Also, if you're having trouble doing this, you can't sit, get a block and sit underneath it, okay? Now, we're first just gonna kind of walk slowly to the left and right, discovering our end ranges and our range and which side do you feel is holding when you rotate and come into this transverse plane, okay? Do that a few times. I'm still holding here. What about you? And then I'm gonna bring my hands in front of me. My belly button is gonna try to come down towards the thigh, all right? So I'm gonna keep my head high and I'm going to do kind of a push up, but I'm not using my hands. Look at this, magic, Doug Henning. I'm gonna push with the outside of my thigh into the floor. That's all I'm doing. Okay, I'm gonna go really slow. So I get to my end range and then I push down with the outside of my thigh to bring my upper body up. So what I'm doing is I'm strengthening and eccentrically loading all this outside tissue here that can become weak from sitting because it's overstretched all the time because you're sitting in front of a computer or you're sitting in a car all the time or other reasons. Okay, come on back, rest in between just for a second. All right, feel the activation. Then we're going to switch to the other side. 90-90, my hands here, belly button comes down, and then pushing the outside of my thigh. I can do this without my hands, but that's more advanced movement. I'm just showing you that I don't need my hands. I'm activating the power of my right leg, the outer thigh and the inner thigh. You may feel it down your right here, meaning that you're holding in there. And then I come back up. Okay? And then we're going to lie on our backs again. And we're going to rest again. And just rest here. Take a few breaths. Fall. Let your pelvis fall. Let go of the tension in your pelvis. If you feel you're holding tension in your pelvic floor, let it go. Okay, last movement. We started with, remember the pelvic clock and the anterior posterior tilt. Now we're going to end with a standing anterior posterior tilt and pelvic clock. So it's kind of like a salsa move. Macarena. So Feet are hip width apart. Okay. Now I'm just going to pull this up so you can kind of see. This is where it originates. Okay. Not here. The Eddie Murphy white man dance. That was my favorite. This is how most people, white people, dance, or I call it the hippie dance. Just move from the shoulders and arms. Watch Soul Train, people. That's how I learned how to dance. Now, I'm going to bend my right knee, let my right pelvis drop, and I'm going to bend the left knee. We're starting out the basics, okay? Bend my left knee, bend my right knee, bend my left knee, bend my right knee. Now, you may have trouble dropping this hip because maybe there are impingements on your lower back, meaning the QL is holding to the top of your pelvis and it can't drop. Now, can I do it with my spine in the center instead of doing this, meaning that the spine and the pelvis is moving as one unit? Can I differentiate between those two? And then, watch this. I'm going to churn the butter. Pretend a pencil is coming out of your asshole. Yes, I just said asshole. I didn't say you're an asshole. I'm the asshole for bringing up the word asshole. And this pencil, pretend you're going to draw a circle on the floor. So that pencil's super long. So it's the figure 8. Remember, it's the pelvic clock, but we're doing it standing, and then you're going to reverse direction. So how is this? Is this easier or is the pelvic clock easier? Or maybe both of them are extremely difficult. They probably are for you. So when you bring awareness and mobility to the pelvis, it's a whole new world. Arigato gozaimasu. And I'm back. Sorry, I had to cut there again because stupid me, I thought, oh, that's the end of it. But no, we want to lie down. We want to lie down on the floor and relax. The most important part of any workout is when you finish, can you completely let go of all that tension that we just created and let the nervous system integrate? And I'll say that again and again and again. So we're going to lie down. We're going to rest. I'm going to walk you through this. So when I lie down, I'm looking at my body, making sure it's straight, tucking the tailbone under just a little bit, but you might not have to. You may want to push the tailbone down depending on the position of your pelvis. And then, sorry, got the mic falling there. And I'm going to tuck my chin under just a little bit, check my shoulder blade positions. And then when I close my eyes, I'm going to do a body scan, and I'm going to see where and if I'm holding tension in my body. For me, it's the pelvic floor, as usual. That's where I hold a lot of my tension. And then my jaw, because I'm yapping so much. What about you? Where are you holding? When you discover it, and there may be multiple places, or maybe just one or two, talk to them. You can talk out loud, or you can internally talk and say to your body parts and say, you know what? I don't need that tension anymore. I'm going to let you go. And then use your exhale to let your body fall into the floor. And your body's becoming heavier and heavier. Sinking into the ocean. Imagine you're in the ocean and you have the ability to breathe underwater. And you're just going to sink down into the depths and fall and let the ocean cradle you. Keep falling. And see you next week. Keep relaxing.